I'm Sam Scott for KTUI.
Hey, good morning and welcome back. Here we are live at the White Mule Winery on the high plains of Gasconade County. We have 54 degrees here at airtime and kind of a hazy, cloudy sky out there this morning, but it's going to warm up very nicely today. I think, near 70, and that is good. That will make Gracie sharpen her lawnmower blades because, tis the season, Grace. It is getting close. I actually went through the vineyard last night and got stuck, with the side, with the lawnmower. I didn't really totally get stuck, but it is wet out there, man. We've had an ample a bunch of rain, and even on the high plains here of Gasconade County, it is wet. We moved some cows around yesterday and the day before that, and just got to keep them moving because it's wet out there. Well, hey, good for you to be along with us this morning on KTUI 1560 AM, 94.1 FM, or possibly you're watching on Facebook Live. If so, get you a cup of coffee, get you a chair, or do whatever, or listen. We have a great show, I know, today because we have great people here that are going to deliver information and a message to you that is critically important to all of us that live in this area. It's critically important, to have the service that the Gerald Rosebud Fire Department provides for us. Volunteer, Gerald Rosebud Fire Department. Volunteer. So they are in it for us, folks, 110%. They do it for us. They serve for us. And I don't know where we would be without them because they do such a lot for our community, and it's time for us to talk about what we can do for them. Jordan Lotman is the chief. Am I correct there?
Deputy chief.
Deputy chief. We'll call him the chief today, unless Schoenfeld is the chief today.
No, not the chief. Not the chief.
Hayden Schoenfeld is also here, and these are two of Rosebud and Gerald's finest, and I totally mean that. Jordan grew up right down the creek here, and he's part of our community. And Hayden, Grandpa lives right over the hill, next to my brothers. So we're all joined at the hip, so to speak. Yep. So my advice to you boys, gentlemen, is to just don't talk bad about anybody because we're all intertwined.
Yeah. Right.
We're all intertwined.
No strangers.
Well, Jordan, you've had a great career thus far, and you're a young man. There's no question, but you've worked your way, through this up the ladder, so to speak, and you've made a big commitment here to our community as well as yourself, doing what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We know where you grew up, of course, was right here, but what do you do full time?
All right. Well, thank you for today and having us here. As I said, my name's Jordan. Lived in this district my entire life. I'm 41, so not so young, but lived in this district for
Jordan,
41
that's young.
Maybe. Ever since I was 17, I became a volunteer firefighter. In fact, one of my good friends at the time, his last name was Smith, first name Dan. We were working together at Siegfried's. We would ride around.
Wow, I don't hear that name very
right,
often. So I'm going to put you in that middle section of life.
There you go. Yep.
Great you don't remember Siegfried.
He was a firefighter, and we were riding around one day, and he's like, "Hey, man, you ever thought about joining the volunteer fire department?" And I was like, "No," because I kind of aspired at the time to be a police officer. Anyway, so I ended up joining the volunteer fire department at that time, and I was just hooked. I think a lot of people, like to help others. You know, we like to be that servant. We like to help others. That's what we do. It's just in our blood. It's in our DNA. And, you know, I don't think it matters if you're paid or not. You know, we're here to help others. That's what we're here for. And so just joined briefly as a junior, transitioned into a firefighter then, and kind of worked the way, you know, up the ladder, if you will. But really our passion is just driven to help others. It's to provide a service to the community, you know, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to that conversation. But I currently am employed with the Bowles Fire Protection District. I've been there for about 19 years. I'm a career captain there. I served with the Gerald Area Ambulance for 20 years, retired there a year or two ago. And right now, it's just career and volunteer fire. It's what I do. Raise my kids.
And do a great job of all of the above. And so many times I've seen you around this curve right here. You know what I'm saying? Worked some situations that, you know, both as the ambulance, you know, and the fire department, and you know, handled yourself extremely well in all of those situations, and appreciate what you do without a doubt.
Well, it's a group effort. All the firefighters together. I mean, they're a team. They're phenomenal guys. Right now, our department is just, I can't brag enough on them. We have over 40 guys on our roster.
Wow.
And if we had to, due to cuts, get rid of them, some of them, it would be hard because they're active, they're involved, they're engaged with their community, with outreaches, with fundraisers, with PR events, trainings, calls. I mean, we go through, you know, we might go a week with 1 or 2 calls, and then we might get hit with a dozen calls in a week that stem from rescues to structure fires to mutual aid assists and on and on.
Not
And
only
so
that, but
it's
their family.
their family.
Their family. You know, all these guys that we work with are family.
Hayden, and that camaraderie and that brotherhood, back to back, man to man, it's got to be there.
Yeah.
Because you are thrown in a situation, Hayden, where you don't know the outcome when that fire call goes out. You know, you don't know exactly what the circumstances are going to be when you get there. And
There's a couple applications sitting on the chief's desk now.
well, Hayden, what has been your motivation? I mean, I know your grandpa, I know your father, you know, so just all of the above?
Yeah, well, so I grew up in this community. I've been here my whole life. I grew up in Rosebud, my mom and dad, and brother and sister. My grandpa, my pawpaw actually, was on the Zimmerly side. He was a fire captain for Metro West Fire District in Baldwin. And then my other grandpa, Grandpa Schoenfeld,
Right.
knew him well. He's the Jim's Towing.
Right.
They were all huge in my life, and it just my papa passed away, and I kind of was not the best kid in school, and wanted to get out of school.
Like Gracie.
Yeah, I wanted
I mean,
to.
she did okay in class, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, but
Well, it's,
you weren't the troublemaker. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it mixed up.
no, it's okay.
Suddenly speechless.
As far as procrastination goes, I wasn't the best kid in school, and I took an EMT class through RTI in Rolla,
Yeah.
and they bussed us over there, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a great way to get out of school, and it was. It was, but when I went there, I fell in love with the EMT stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I had some friends that were up at Metro West, and I joined up there as a reserve firefighter. It was just basically I could ride on the fire trucks and the ambulance just to kind of observe. And then I was hooked. I was like, this is great. 7 years ago, just a few days ago, I joined Gerald Rosebud Fire at 17. And I've been there for the last 7 years. I'm the captain of our House 2 now. I'm a paid firefighter for St. Charles City, and I just me and my wife been married for 3 years now. Wow, I literally just spaced. But what was really important is I just had twin baby girls, and
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, I like telling everybody that I
How
had.
old?
They are almost. They're going to be 3 weeks.
Wow.
They're going to
Wow.
be 3 weeks tomorrow.
I'm surprised you get out of the house here.
Yeah.
You know,
They
I
have an
mean,
agreement. They have
Yeah.
an agreement.
Well, that's why I'm sprouting a beard right now because I
ain't got time to shave.
Because I'd not gone back to work, so I've been off work for a while, so it's good.
Do I have a mentor for you though? My son Woody, good mentor you with those twins, or you know.
Yeah.
So, and you know that's admirable also, and for you guys to commit to what you do, you know, from the ground level one. If we do not have close proximity, living in the rural area to fire, our fire rates are adjusted in regard to that.
That's correct,
So
yeah.
just having your presence here, just having your presence at 4 miles or 6 miles or whatever that distance might be, saves every one of us, you know, that have a need.
Helps keeps your insurance a little
Keep
bit.
our insurance
Yeah.
lower.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we're just going through ours again now, you know, and that, wanted to know how far it was. And speaking on a personal level, when my shop at home burned down, no less than, I don't know how many fire departments were there, but that shows the support and the camaraderie. But you know, there are working agreements, you know, between every fire department to take care of, and what do they call it?
Mutual aid. We have
Yeah.
mutual aid.
Yeah.
State
Mutual aid. I don't know. I lost that, but mutual aid. And I think there was like 7 or 9
Yeah.
fire departments here when my shop
Yeah.
burned down, and you were one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that, and you know, it saved the house. You know what I'm saying? And that's and the barn. You know, and that's awesome. There's no question. So I had firsthand experience with that, but. Anyway, that's one of the things that save each and every one, but then I don't think a lot of people realize either that you are totally volunteer, but then you don't only do the fire stuff. Anytime there's an accident, you know, you send out the rescue vehicles, you do traffic stuff, you know?
So the calls we run, you know, a lot of people think fire department, oh, they're just out fighting fires. They just put water on fire. Well, we pretty much respond to anything and everything. If you have power lines arcing, if you have a cat in a tree, if you have a vehicle accident, a structure fire, a brush fire, a chest pain, EMS calls, I mean, anything and everything. If you lock yourself out of your car, all right, we have the tools to be able to get into your vehicle. So when dispatch takes a 911 call, you know, there's a good chance the fire department's probably going to go, you know, depending on the nature of the call. But we respond to everything. I mean, you're kind of the jack of all trades and the master of none, just because you've got to know a bit of everything, because you don't know what call you're going to get next. You know, we run it every day. We could run a vehicle accident, okay? To us, that's relatively simple. But we could get a tanker rollover carrying some hazmat material.
Yeah.
That's not normal. We don't run those all the time, but we still know the procedure to
Sure.
remedy that. So
And you got to go through the training, so you're not just there on those calls. You go past the Rosebud of the Drill Fire Department a lot of nights. I know you have a lot of meetings. That's a gathering place, you know, to mentor for one, but you know, maybe just understand what your job is, and people just being there and being part of that is an important part of your concept.
I mean, you make a very good point too. we have a 3-year requirement. You have to take firefighter 1 and 2 and hazmat awareness and ops. Those are requirements that to be a member, you have to obtain that within 3 years of joining. So, you know, unless they're a brand new member, you know, their experience is limited, their training is limited, but as they progress, they'll get more training. And that's an ongoing expense that we have as well, is continuously trying to train guys. There's always new techniques, there's always new equipment, there's new technology. All these new things come out, and we have to stay up on that.
Right.
I mean, the only difference between us and Metro West or us and even Union, they're the closest paid department to us, you know, is that we're volunteer.
Is Union all paid, or is it?
They're still a combination
okay.
department. They still have
As
some
well as Sullivan,
volunteers.
correct?
Sullivan as
Sullivan,
well.
I know that they
correct,
passed
yeah.
that
Yeah.
Yep.
Most every
15 years ago,
department,
whenever.
Yeah, they have.
every department in Franklin County is still either all volunteer or a combination.
So, on geographically, the Gerald Rosebud Fire District is where? You know the boundaries, the general boundaries of it.
Yeah, we run all of, obviously, Gerald, all of Rosebud. We butt up to Sullivan, New Haven, Herman, Owensville. We run, it's 124 square miles.
Okay.
It goes all the way out towards Lost Valley.
Yep.
We cover Lost Valley.
Okay.
And then it goes a little past Highway AC on the other side of, like, going towardsSullivan.
On H.
Okay, yeah,
On
okay.
H. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
On H.
the length.
So
the
AC,
width,
to give
yeah.
it general,
Yep.
Right.
AC to
AC.
ZZ, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
past ZZ, a little past ZZ.
A little past ZZ.
Yeah, and
We
then-
stop about a quarter mile short of Drake on 50. I think the Lotman
Okay.
Farm is the
Yeah.
last
Is
farm
that,
there.
is that it?
We're pretty choppy. When you get to
Yeah.
Drake, there's a few, just because the line was.
Owensville and
yeah,
whatever.
the
Same
Owensville
with
and
down
us.
Highway T outside of Rosebud. You get around T Lakes. You know, it's more of a mutual aid combined
Yeah.
run. Whatever
Right.
that alarm might be, it'll probably pull both Owensville Fire and Gerald Rosebud Fire.
And then we go all the way out to the second, just past the second Clemmy Road, going outside of Gerald.
Okay.
to the
So-
railroad tracks.
To the
basically,
railroad
Right.
tracks, yeah.
in
And
Beaufort,
then
Leslie.
you basically are on Soap Creek or whatever, where's like on 28?
Oh,
Or do you-
yeah, right
28,
around.
we go up to Pump Station.
We actually, yeah, we
and
go up to
Pump-
the pump
okay.
station, yeah.
Ballpark. Again, there's a line, there's an area there about a mile or so where you'll get both departments just because of the uncertainty of the location. But
Right.
basically, we go to Pump Station.
So that's about how many people? Do you know what the population there is?
We
or
guesstimate between 5,000 to 6,000.
5,000 to 6,000 people
Yeah.
live in that.
Seasonal with the Lost Valley and all that stuff. We
Oh, yeah.
figured around.
I mean,
Oh, my
Lost
goodness,
Valley
yes.
on a busy weekend.
Rosebud on a busy weekend.
3,000 people out there.
We figured about
potentially.
15,000 on a when we were
And then the
working in
new
grants.
RV park that's coming to town, what we understand is there's supposed to be roughly 400 pads.
Yeah.
That's doubling Rosebud and some.
By
So,
far.
by far. And so, you know, we expect our call volume to pick up a little bit with that as well.
Of course it will, you know, I mean, it's
But
just
so, yeah,
nature to do that.
To his
you know.
point, on a busy holiday weekend, we could be servicing 10,000 plus people.
Well, plus the traffic.
Right.
Plus the traffic on 28 and on 50.
Right.
You know, I mean, especially like from Gerald through 28 at Rosebud. I mean, it's been a long time back, but you know, there are days that there's 30 to 40,000 cars going through Rosebud. You know, off of 28. You know, probably deer season is one.
Oh yeah, you've got a
But-
lot of traveling in
and-
deer season, and the
yeah.
people that are working in the factories is another one. That's a
Exactly,
huge
all
one.
of that back and forth, but you know, if you're here like this time of the year, you know, any of the hunting seasons, any of the fishing seasons, but the RV traffic, you know what I'm saying, is through the roof here, and the side, you know, everybody wants to get out in the country, and COVID has driven, you know, a lot of those people out here without a doubt. So, a lot, you know, a lot to do. So you got 40 people, 40 gentlemen, maybe some ladies too, but 40 service providers here underneath your Gerald and Rosebud Fire Department. And they're all volunteers. So they're out, you know, somebody's probably thinking about working on something for the fire department each and every day.
Yeah.
Or numerous people are, without a doubt, just to keep the trucks maintenance and cleaned up and keep, you guys always run a clean shop. I wish you would park your truck at my shop. You know, 'cause,
A lot of guys take pride in keeping their stuff clean.
well, it's the, you know, you're proud of it.
You get those moments where they'll run a call through the night, or guys have to scoot off to work real quick and don't get that extra 20 minutes to quickly wash a truck, and we all know about it. And as soon as guys are off work, they're back cleaning trucks.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
these guys are, again, they're all volunteer. They all have families, jobs, other obligations and commitments, but they still make time to provide themselves to the community, to offer themselves up to whatever emergency awaits. So.
Yeah, and that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about how we, as your patrons, can help you this upcoming election, taking care of the needs that you have. What is before us? What is before the voters here on April the 4th? And how can we help serve you?
Well,
serve ourselves.
Yeah, well, we only exist because of you, because of the people in this community. We are here for them, for you guys, and we all obviously have families here as well, so we want to see that everyone's provided with the best that we can do. We're just finding ourselves in a position, since we became a district back in 1980, we've never had a tax increase. And so inflation has really, really taken over and has made it really hard for the board to balance a budget. We're going over our budget, and it's not out of greed or out of unnecessary spending. There's a reason for everything that we have. And that's a long conversation, but there's a reason for everything that we have. So again, we're kind of at that point.
But the short of that is fuel, you know what I'm saying, is a huge factor.
It's a huge factor.
In what you do. I don't know what percentage of your budget, but that is a huge factor. Those trucks, they're running, and they got big engines, and, you got pumpers, you know what I'm saying, that take a lot of power, to run those things. So I don't know what miles per gallon a pumper gets, but it probably ain't very good.
It's 4 to 5 to 6
Yeah.
probably. It's small. It's
Right.
low.
Well, on top of that is a lot of what the pumpers do, in particular, is you have a pumper. They might get up to 50,000 miles on it, and that's for a car. That's nothing much, but for a truck,
Yes.
for a fire truck, it's starting to show its age, because most of the time, in those instances, they're just sitting on
Right.
a scene, high idle, pumping. Then that causes a lot of wear and tear, and like you said, the fuel too. I mean, that just runs a lot of fuel.
And the tires, I
Yeah.
mean, just the basic, maintenance on those, the oil that you put in, the tire. I mean, I ordered some tires, from my side by side, and it's shocking. You know what I'm saying? It's shocking. Whoever thought, you'd spend $500-600, or more, what I'm saying, on that. So, those are things, but then anybody that goes and has any mechanic work done, anybody that buys any tangible thing, knows that if they can get it, that the cost of those things have went up immensely, and especially your technology stuff that you guys are dealing with, because you got to have good stuff. You can't be out there and have something break down. So that high end, whatever that is, if that's an axe, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
if that's, the jaws of life that you use or whatever, that stuff's got to be the high end stuff that works, correct?
Yes.
We
yes.
try, at least. We tried to get that.
Right.
I mean, we've had a lot of we've been blessed a lot recently to have some like grants, for instance.
Right.
We've had some money come in after COVID, and was able to get us some really nice jaws, like the jaws of life, as you say. Like, we've got some battery operated ones. Had we not gotten that COVID money, we'd still be working off of old pieces of equipment that we can't even find parts for anymore, which we still have one set of those equipment, and you just can't find parts for them anymore. Our SCBA's, for instance, this one was huge, and I don't know if you were going to touch on that, but this is something.
The what now?
Our SCBA's, I apologize, talking too fast. Our air bottles that are on our packs, that we wear inside fires. We had we had gotten them in the early 2000s off of a grant. We'd gotten all of them, and since then we've been, they're 20 plus years old, and we had been running a lot of fire last year, just the way that it happened, and we had packs. Our air packs started to fail, one after the other after the other. Actually, I was on a fire, and my pack failed right before we went inside to this building.
End of their life cycle, 20 years or whatever.
Right. Well, at the end of their
15,
life cycle, the end of their life cycles, technically around the 15-year mark, and we were using them for 20, and we had to do a payment plan purchase to get new ones, and so we're indebted. And we had to get the new ones because we didn't have a choice. I mean, it's either we have a bunch of broken ones that puts our guys at risk.
We can't do that.
We can't do that. And that goes the same with gear. Gear's another thing. Gear expires after 5 years. So it's so hard to keep up with that, especially with now we've got a growing roster, and we can't bring on new guys without putting them in expired gear. Now, and that's
and you need more. You need more people, to provide the service, because everybody's has such a flexible work schedule anymore.
Absolutely.
So many people are working so many different hours that it's not the point at 5 o'clock that half of your workers are at home, because that don't happen no more. I mean, it's just not 9 to 5, so you got to have a big purview, and that's a big.
That's a great point. That's what we are. That's used to. It was very hard to get guys during the day because 9 to 5 was everybody's schedule. But now we're getting into a better system of during the day we have a few guys around. It's still harder during the day. Weekends and evenings are when we have our biggest turnout. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
So what is the ask, in regard to what you're looking for? What's going to be on the ballot?
So the board decided we needed 45 cents, but we didn't want to hit the public with it all at one time, the community with it at one time. So they're going for 30 cents immediately, followed by 15 cents, I believe, in 5 years in 2029, for a total of 45 cents. Currently,
now let's explain that a little bit. That 45 cents per every the
$100 assessed.
Assessed.
Yes, not appraised. There's a lot of people who get appraised and assessed mixed up and confused.
Right.
And it would make a ginormous difference.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would. But your assessed value is typically far less than what your appraised value is. So whenever you're looking at your tax statement, make sure you're looking at your assessed value when you're seeing what you're going to be paying out to any tax government agency.
So on a let's say $200,000 home, you know what I'm saying, or property, at 40, the most it would be what, $90? No.
So I've kind of figured the average person might expect, the average family, the average person might expect another $10 a month, kind of, sort of, in a ballpark. I mean, my home assesses at, I think, 220 something, and I pay currently $106 a year. And so, if you divided that up by the month, it's in the ballpark at $10 a month is kind of what you're looking at to support your fire department. And
give or take $100 a year. I'm just throwing that
give
out
or take,
there.
yes.
I mean, it could be half of that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these homes aren't worth $200,000.
No.
On most, I would say, things that most of them ain't worth 200,000. Your average
That's why I was
customer
coming
probably is around
average.
100, and X. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to
And
know
to
exactly.
that point too is, we're not with the ambulance district, we're completely separate from that. And so we don't bill, all right? So when you pay your taxes, that's it. That's what we operate off of. We don't collect anything above and
Right.
beyond that, other than donations. Occasionally, somebody might donate to the.
How about the fire, the dues on the fire department? Joe Rosebud doesn't
Nope,
do that.
we don't do dues. We're
Now,
just-
Owensville
does.
used to.
They still do.
They still do?
They still do.
Okay. And Owensville is subsidized by the city,
By the
too.
city, yes.
Correct?
So
'Cause
not only, yes, they have they have their city budget and they have their fire dues. That's a great point, yeah.
And that is all of our taxpayers' dollars that will go to Walmart or do whatever, that they utilize, those things to help support that volunteer fire department, because it is.
Yep.
Right.
But, we don't have that,
Nope.
We're just
taxing
taxpayers.
situation.
Just taxpayers.
That goes all to the people that, have ownership, have houses, and it's not personal property. It's not assessed on personal property, it's just on real estate, correct?
It's on real estate and personal property, yes.
Okay, it is both, okay. I wasn't exactly sure how that went about. So,
It's just like the government and the military. The military is funded off of taxes. We are the first line of defense for our community.
of course you are.
We're funded off taxes. And so, I think we all can agree, nobody wants to pay more in taxes. There isn't a person that looks forward to that, but the need is there, and the fire department, the community showing up and just supporting the fire department means a lot. We're not always seen all the time by everybody, but we're out there, we're doing a job, and we're there at any moment, at any time.
What approximately is the budget
Our budget approximately right now is 200,000
for the entire budget?
for the entire budget. Yeah, that's for 3 firehouses, multiple trucks, 40 plus personnel. All of that we operate on roughly a $200,000 budget.
Right.
And we pay for dispatching. There's insurance,
For our report systems.
maintenance. There's a lot of cost, and we can look at what the COLA is, cost of living increase for Social Security will set cost of living at 8.7%. I mean, when's the last time you went into Walmart and noticed the item only went up 8%? I mean, it's doubled, and it's the same with the fire service.
I avoid that place.
Yeah.
But my wife let me know.
They have their reason and purpose as well, and they've been good to us as well.
I'm not,
No, I know.
we support, I'm
Sure.
just saying.
I
that-
know, but I lost my train of thought.
$200,000
So
trucks.
our
trucks,
budget and the expense and everything, it's hard to maintain it. Our trucks, I think Mr. Understall was at our last open house, and
Yeah.
he said our 95 tanker or pumper that's at House 1, they bought that new back in 95 for maybe, I think he said $65,000. Today, if you want a demo truck,
This
you're-
is like bone stock
is just
demo truck,
demo.
something that's been used for people to touch and look at,
Yeah.
not a custom truck.
You're
not
probably looking at 600,000 plus.
I was gonna guess that,
And then if you want a
exactly.
custom truck, you're talking $1 million plus,
Yeah.
easy. New stations are $1 million plus stations, and there's nothing extravagant about it. That's just what it is. If you look at everyone around you that has been able to build a station or buy a new truck, you can see what it costs. And so where we're at, we cannot sustain what we're doing without the help of the community.
Do you have any idea with training, with meetings that you go to, how many man hours and that, these 40 people are
Thousands.
putting? Thousands.
of hours
Thousands.
easily, and that's a good point. That costs too, right? Like our training, we want, we're asked that the board's asking for this. We're asking for this tax, but we also this is something that can be used towards the training of our guys as well. Training isn't free. Most training isn't free. You can try to get it funded through the state.
And we
Fire
do.
One and
We
we
get
do.
occasionals.
We
I
get
understand.
occasionals, but we also have to have the facilities to facilitate these individuals. The Fire 1 and 2, if you don't get it funded through the state, it's thousands of dollars. Whereas and you pay instructors and all this other stuff. It's there's a lot to it. We have a lot of specialty resources. Like we have a bloodhound, we have a bloodhound team that worked in tandem with us. They're on our roster too for search and rescue. We've got guys that are wanting to go through and become EMTs and all this other stuff. And it's just, we can't really assist them and help them go through these kind of trainings because it's not really in the budget to do so.
We have winter fire school, summer fire school, lake fire tactics at the Lake of the Ozarks. Different facilities offer new trainings, and so that's one thing we like to do is send our guys. We can't send them all, but we have a budget. We stay within our budget, but we'll send a few guys to those different training facilities or training grounds to learn whatever subject it is that they're teaching and they want to learn more on. And that costs to send them there to attend. Sometimes overnight lodging is required, and those things. And that's something we should be grateful to give our firemen because they're doing it for free. They're not getting paid. They're not getting compensated. So if we can pay for your training, or if you have to stay for 3 days because it's a 3-day training, we'll pay for the 2 nights hotel. We should have no problem doing that because these guys are doing it for free. They're probably leaving their wife and kids at home or whatever, and these guys, it's the least we can do.
There's no question that it is, and if we can get our arms around what it would cost us if you weren't volunteer. I used to know these numbers right off the top of my head, but when you are looking at finding personnel, 724, 365 days a year, I'm thinking it's somewhere, you might know that.
We would max out the maximum allowed you could receive as a taxing agency, as a fire department. I think it's like $2.54 or I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm not certain. It's in the $2 range. And even with that, I don't think we could do it.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. Cause,
we're not dense like cities.
Just say $50,000 a year. You know what I'm saying for qualified, cost there. That's only 4 people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
8 hours a day,
Yeah, that's
not
right.
24.
You're absolutely right.
So to have 4 people a day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like 20 people. Like on the sheriff's department, we used to figure, just to have somebody, or FTEs. But anyway, it's a lot, and we're getting a great bargain with volunteers, and we got to stay that way.
And to your point, we can't, and we're not looking for, if this passes, we're not looking to buy new shiny trucks, put up new stations, hire people. That's not what we're looking for. Sustainability. This is something that is for our future for the future of the department. This is our only way that we can fund ourselves. We did the comedy night here and it was amazing, but that brought in a few $1,000s.
That was also an
But
association.
that's what I was about to say. That goes to our firefighters that put it on, our firefighter association, and they can kind of help supplement when it comes to gear and equipment. But how far does $4,000 go in the grand scheme of things? That doesn't even with the cheapest fire gear that you can buy. That'll outfit one firefighter.
One.
Yeah, $3,000. That'll outfit one firefighter.
Our gear right now is in the ballpark of 4,000, 4,500.
Somewhere around that. You can,
for the
if you
gear.
buy in bulk or you buy a
Right.
bunch, you can get discounts and stuff. But it's hard because there's so many different aspects that go into this the firefighting stuff. You've got you've got your hose that expires. You've got your gear. You've got your everything has a date. Everything breaks. You've got your obviously your equipment, your rope. Right, your rope goes bad after 8 years. You've got.
People ask, where do we save money? Where do we try to cut costs? And one example we were discussing our way here is we just recently purchased some new thermal imaging cameras. A quality NFPA standard thermal imaging camera might cost you $10,000, but we settled for a $3,000 non-NFPA standard thermal imaging camera. Would we like that nice one? Sure.
Of course.
Can we make this work? We will. But You know,
Have
we
to.
don't go out and just splurge and buy what we can't. We have to be responsible to our taxpayers, and we do our very best. The board does their very best to stay within that budget, but it is unsustainable.
Sure.
We cannot do it without this increase.
On the ballot, what is the question, or what is the, is there a proper,
Yeah, there
something?
is. Can you pull it up?
Yeah, prop fire rescue.
But,
Yeah.
but he wants to know what it's going to say, the language, ballot language, I think.
Well, or what prop is it? A, B,
Prop
C?
It's
fire
prop,
rescue.
it's prop fire rescue.
Prop fire
Okay,
rescue.
Yeah.
prop fire rescue, that's good enough, you know.
Okay.
I mean, because there's several questions.
Sure.
That we have coming up. One of them is on our, these are gonna overlap to some degree, but the school has an issue coming up. And I wanna try to make it clear on which is what. And that's just simply the question, for the school district, if they want to, have a no tax increase bond issue, for
And that's-
buildings and maintenance and whatever.
That's another very good point too. When you look at your tax bill, you know, and, you know, I know what we're going for, but what we're going for is within our taxing thing, not the overall. Like if your tax
Right.
bill's $3,000 a year, it's not gonna double to 6,000. You just look at your drilled rosebud, what you're paying to them, that's the number that
Yeah.
will go up.
Right.
Yeah, and there again, it's gonna vary, but $100, give or take, you know what I'm saying, depending on
Yeah.
your assessed valuation.
For the
and,
average home average.
Right.
you know,
I know places in,
and-
yeah, in Gerald, I know that there's a couple guys that I know they pay $30-$40.
Right.
Like, you know,
Of
and that's,
course, yeah.
and that's just because in the
That's
city,
cheaper, yeah, yeah, there's no
myself
question.
included, like,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so April the 4th, is when this is, coming up. I'm trying to think if there's any other besides, I mean, there'll be local races, you know what I'm saying, in regard on that, but I'm thinking about propositions, the school and the fire department.
I know Bowles is going for.
But that wouldn't be on ours.
No, not on ours.
That wouldn't be on our local thing.
no.
the
Not on our
city of
local.
Gerald is going for a use tax and a marijuana tax
Okay.
in the city, yeah.
All right.
but that's just the city of
That's
Gerald.
just in
yeah.
the city of Gerald.
Correct. I don't know the city. I don't know about the city of Rose, but I don't think they're doing anything. But besides their, I think maybe their aldermen are up. The
Yeah, I'm
city
sure
of Gerald
there's-
aldermen and
there's those,
mayor.
You know, things, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we are talking with Jordan Lotman and Hayden Schoenfeld from the Gerald Rosebud Fire Department. We're getting into the details here on what it takes to run a volunteer fire department, and it's pretty immense. So we're going to stay on that a little bit and come back and ask a few more questions and solicit your support for these good guys. But first, I think we're going to take a little break here on KTUI, 1560 AM, 94.1 FM, our Facebook Live. And by the way, Cardinals home opening today, you know, so
You're gonna have
I'm
a
in
good
red
day.
for a reason, Grace, you know, and got an invite to go watch, you know, the game, and I've taken them up on it, because we went several years back, and wow, it was the very first time I've ever been, and it was very impressive. So.
Well, I didn't get invited, so you have a good time.
Oh, well,
I'm fine with it.
yeah, well, I know, that's the kind of a,
It's a guy.
I can't say that, you know what I'm saying? Me, Woody, and Gussie, let's put it that way, plus the Reinholds and a whole bunch of others, but, yeah, I'll
enjoy my quiet time here today.
okay, make sure you feed tonight, you know?
Will do.
Make sure you get
Yep.
that done. So what else is going on in our neck of the woods this beautiful weekend, and, you know, Easter is getting closer. We're only, you know, a week and a few days away from that, and it's always kind of a hump thing for me, you know what I'm saying, to get through Easter and, you know, find a lot of eggs and enjoy
time.
that. So next week we'll be there, and then we'll be ready to start all of our early spring and summer activities, right?
I'm ready for him.
I hear you.
Alrighty, so we have an Easter egg hunt coming up Saturday, this Saturday, April 1st at Memorial Park, Upper Field. That's from noon until 3. Ages 1 to 3 are at 1 o'clock, 4 to 6 are at 1:45, and then 7 to 10 is at 2:30, and that's put on by the Owensville Police Department.
Let's say that again. This Saturday,
This coming Saturday, Easter egg hunt,
where at?
Memorial Park,
Okay.
Upper Field. April 15th, we're having a benefit here for Jeff Payne. He had some health issues that led up to amputation of over half of his right foot. He's been out of work, so they're just having a benefit here. April 15th, they're having a side-by-side ride from 11 until 4, and then dinner here at 5 o'clock.
You know, we've known Jeff, you know, and
Long
family
time.
for many, many years, and what a great family they have. And Jeff's tremendously hard worker. Had been in the quarry business for years and years, and you know, unfortunately, he's you know, not working right now, and we're all there, going to be there, and we're going to help. And seen him at the ball game. His son does a great job on the basketball floor, you know, and he's fun to watch. You know, there's no doubt. So if you're not doing anything,
Come out and support the family.
come out and support him.
April 15th.
Very good.
April 8th, which is next Saturday, we are having an adult Easter egg hunt here at the winery starting at 3. Then we'll be serving our dinners from 5 until 8:30 after that. This Friday night, we'll
That's
be
a pretty big thing, ain't it?
It is. Yeah.
You know, last year I
Last
could not
year was-
believe whoever come up with that idea. You know, who come up with that, Mom?
I think it was a combined.
Okay. But I
Effort, but
couldn't
it was
believe how many people showed up for that adult Easter egg hunt. Do
It
you
was
have
pretty
any?
intense.
Huh?
Pretty intense.
There was no fights on the parking lot or nothing, but you know, these mostly ladies took it pretty serious because we had lots from Jeff City and Columbia and wherever, you know, they heard about it, and so we're gonna do it again. Do we have a golden egg?
We do have a golden egg.
What's in that? Or is that a surprise? Or you don't know yet?
No, I know. I think I'm going to keep it a secret, though. It's a good surprise.
Okay.
But there'll be all kinds
Where
of
are you gonna hide
prizes
it?
made. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't make it too hard, you know.
It won't be too hard. It won't be easy, though.
That's awesome.
Well, that'll be fun, and that's next
Next Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Saturday at 3 o'clock.
And then this Friday night, we will be serving our steaks, salmon, beef kebabs, grilled shrimp, and country fried steak from 5 until 8:30. Saturday, we'll have pizza, wings, and burgers from noon until 5, and then our steak dinners after that. And then Sundays, all you can eat pan-fried chicken and roast beef from 11 until 3:30. So, gonna be a nice weekend, so
I know
go
where
out
I'm
and
eating this
enjoy it.
weekend.
That's
The best food you'll ever find.
I know where I'm eating this
Right
weekend.
here.
Hey, well, thank you. I mean, I baking cakes today.
I mean,
Don't
it's,
tell
it's
people
no
that, they
surprise.
won't know.
You guys have the best
They,
food.
they
Yeah.
are they're still Mom's recipes, you know, on the cake. And Charlie's, not this Charlie, but our other Charlie's out baking today. And you know, thank you for that. But we just like to be part of the community and be part of everything. And it may not look obvious, but I enjoy eating. Yes. Okay, so guys, it's really been a pleasure. You do an incredible job. You're very professional on what you do, and I'm damn proud of you guys for what you do for us.
Thank you.
And how you go
Appreciate
about
that.
doing it. And we're here for you anytime, any day that you need it, and we're going to ask people to get out and support your proposal on the ballot April the 4th. Get out and support our local Gerald Rosebud fire rescue, everything above. Get out and support these volunteers. They need it. We know that things are different out there in regard to the economy and where your personal situation may or may not be, but we also know that we're very blessed to live where we live and have the people around us that care and serve us as they do, and they are an integral part of our community, and we can't be here without them, and they can't be there without us. You know,
Absolutely.
so Jordan, one more time, ask people to help.
Well, again, your local volunteer firefighters are encouraged and overwhelmed when their community gets out and supports them. As I said at the beginning, we're here for you. We only exist for you, and we just want to be able to continue providing this service to our community and those who pass through it. So we really appreciate everyone's support, and we ask that you would vote yes on Proposition Fire Rescue on April 4th to support your local Gerald Rosebud volunteer firefighters.
Hayden?
Yep.
Tell us.
I appreciate everybody. The community has had overwhelming support for us over the last few years. We have.
You do good
Yeah.
barbecue too, by the way, but keep going.
That's a good point. We do. It's amazing to see the community that we have and that we have the privilege to cover. To have the White Mule in our district is awesome. To have what we have in our community with just our people, it's awesome. And they show up. The community shows up whenever we do something. We open our doors. People show up. We do a barbecue. People show up. We have an event like the comedy night. People show up, and they do in crowds, and they come out in support of us. And we're asking for your support one more time on April 4th. Prop Fire Rescue. Please consider voting yes. We're all in this together. To sustain your volunteer fire department.
Gentlemen, our family will be there for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to encourage everyone that we know to understand what they're doing, and we appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for putting your life on the line to serve mankind, and we appreciate you without a doubt, and we appreciate you for being here with us today. Next week end is going to be Easter. I'm not sure who we got on next Thursday, but we got somebody, I
Mark
think.
Shaper-Cutter.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Owensville, and we'll have some election results, back by then, and we'll share them with you also. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the day, get out and support the Cardinals if you're so inclined, and it's good to be with you today, and God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not